good. Is it live?
Yep.
All right, thank you, everyone, for being here. Thanks for the other folks who are here as we kind of get through our upgrade technology that we're utilizing today. And we're running just a few minutes behind. We actually got lots to cover today. First, we're going to talk about really our pools and making up for lost time with the pandemic. Everyone knows that last year we weren't able to open up our pools. We were able to fast forward on our aquatics plan. So now that our pools are open, many of them are better than they've ever been. So just for a quick update on, a quick actually announcement on our pools, we recognize the superintendent, Reggie Davidson.
Thanks, Mayor. Well, good morning. As the Mayor mentioned, we have some exciting news that we wanted to share with the community. We're able to extend our pools this year, that they're going to be open until Labor Day. So that gives us an opportunity for those young people to continue to enjoy the investment that we made in those pools and the splash pads as well. So starting on next week, the pools will be opening from 1 to 6 p.m. and then 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. on the weekends. And then the following week, we will move to weekend operations only up until Labor Day. Then on Labor Day, we'll be open from 1 to 6 p.m. The only pool that won't be open through that Labor Day weekend is our orchard pool. One of the challenges that we have this year, that our staff that we use there are seasonal. So a lot of them are going back to school. So due to some staffing levels, we're closing that particular pool. But we do have the Nissa that's close by that they can go over and enjoy during that time frame. One of the other exciting things that we're doing is that we're making sure that while we're keeping those splash pads open, that we're being conscious of saving water as well. So each of the splash pad locations have an activator that's there that you can actually turn them on when they're in use. So when people aren't there using it during the day, we're not using water and conserving it for the community, so we're not wasting what we have there. And one of the exciting things that we do at the end of every year, we have an event that we do in conjunction with the Kansas Humane Society, is Dog Days pool event over at College Hill Park. So we're looking forward to that event that's coming up on September the 7th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. We encourage you all to go out and look at our website to get additional information about the upcoming events. And we also encourage people to look forward. Next summer, we'll be hiring for additional splash pad operators as well as lifeguards, so we always want to get that message out as well. So go out to wichita.gov/aquatics, and it will give you updates on all that information also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Reggie. We appreciate that. Next, we are going to invite up Scott Rigby, who will provide us with an update on air travel and an opportunity to speak to our business, for our business community, weigh in on their air travel experiences as we try to implement some improvements.
Thanks, Mayor. A couple items we want to talk about today. Just first item we want to say is we want to send our congratulations, and this is a major achievement for the airport. 2 years ago, we started a runway rehab and replacement process at the airport to replace large sections of our 2 parallel runways. This $22 million project took over the last 2 years to do this, and we recently completed that this last week. So with that, we're here today just to say thanks to our partners at the FAA, and especially our congressional delegation that were key in helping us secure funding. Out of the $22 million project, $19.5 million came from the FAA funds, and then approximately $2.3 came from the local match of the airport. The airport uses airport revenues, which is generated by concessions, parking, your airline tickets. A portion of the airline tickets goes to that as well. Those funds were then used to do the local match. So there's no local City of Wichita taxes used for this effort. So again, we just want to say thanks, especially to our partners at the FAA, and especially to our congressional delegation, our senators in Congress. People have been key to that, and we look forward to providing you a smooth runway experience as you travel in the upcoming months and years ahead. With that, we want to switch to the next item, which is we know that the pandemic really hit air travel hard, and over the last few months, we've seen leisure travel come back strong, which is I think the pent-up demand to get out of our houses and to go places, enjoy all around the U.S. And so that has been strong. What we are starting to work on is how does business travel return, and how do we work with our airlines to provide them the information to say what does the Wichita region area feel about business travel? When will businesses start to return to business travel? Will there be any restrictions for businesses as they consider travel needs? How much, for example, will Zoom or Teams or WebEx or whatever the online meetings impact their travel opportunities? So we have worked to develop a online survey that we're requesting Wichita area businesses to participate in. And it's key, these are business travel, so we're asking for a representative from businesses to respond to the survey. It's at www.flywichita.gov. It'll take about 5 to 10 minutes. It'll ask key questions about what do you think your business travel will be in the coming 6, 12, 18 months. Are you a legacy carrier? Are you a low-cost carrier user for business travel? Are there certain things that are key for you? It can be everywhere from how often do you think you'll travel, how many of your business unit will travel in the coming months. We're asking you to do that. We'll take that information. When that closes, the survey will close August 13th. When that closes, we'll take that information, tabulate that, and then we'll start to work with our airlines as they start to develop plans for bringing air service back for business travel. One of the key things we're hoping to encourage people to participate in businesses, we will provide 3 winners, 3 businesses, an opportunity to win 5 tickets to an upcoming Wind Surge game in the City Suite to thank them for the participation, as well as those winners will also have an opportunity to receive free parking passes for a limited time at the airport. So we look forward to receiving feedback. Your feedback is critical for us, and with that, thanks, Mayor.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. Appreciate the update. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our new health grant. This past Tuesday, we approved a $4 million grant to improve health equity among the most underserved populations throughout Wichita. The grant is aimed at working to improve health literacy, addressing health disparities, and improve health outcomes among racial and ethnic minorities and vulnerable communities within our city. The City of Wichita is partnering with the Wichita Black Alliance, Cedric County Health Core Clinic, Hunter Health, Grace Med, the University of Kansas School of Medicine, and others, and the campaign will focus on underserved communities throughout Wichita. The grant application was a collaboration between the City of Wichita and the Wichita Black Alliance. Building on the Wichita Black Alliance hashtag Facts Not Fear campaign, the grant will fund a community-wide expansion of the WBA's initiative and will be administered through the Community Connections Consulting Services. So here to tell us more about this is Angeline Johnson, who is the owner and principal consultant for the Community Connections Consulting Services. Lots of C's there. So welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Whipple, and that's why I say C3S for short.
There we go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angeline Johnson. As Mayor Whipple stated, I am the owner and principal consultant at Community Connections Consulting Services, or C3S for short. And I will serve as the project administrator for the hashtag Facts Not Fear grant that I am going to discuss in more detail. A little bit about Community Connections Consulting Services is we are a boutique consulting firm that provides professional guidance and expertise and support to governmental bodies, nonprofits, and other entities involved in making a difference and a change in communities. So we are really excited to be a part of this effort because of that. The Facts Not Fear ICT Communication and Outreach Initiative, providing health and literacy and resources to promote informed decision-making. This was a proposal that was submitted to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Minority Health, in response to the Advancing Health Literacy to Enhance Equitable Community Responses to COVID-19 Notice of Funding Availability. The purpose of that notice was to allow local government implementation of evidence-based health literacy strategies that are culturally appropriate to enhance COVID-19 testing, contact tracing, and or other mitigation measures in racial and ethnic minority populations and other socially vulnerable populations, including racial and ethnic minority rural communities. OMH expected that awarded projects would demonstrate effectiveness in working with local community-based organizations to develop health literacy plans to increase the availability, acceptability, and use of COVID-19 public health information and services by racial and ethnic minority populations. The recipients of this award are expected to leverage local data to identify racial and ethnic minority populations at the highest risk for health disparities and low health literacy, as well as populations that are currently not being reached by existing health campaigns. In the spring of 2021, in partnership with C3S and Mama Rossi Communications and the Wichita Black Alliance, the City of Wichita submitted a proposal which was entitled, at that time, hashtag Facts Not Fear, has since been updated to hashtag Facts Not Fear ICT, Communication Outreach Initiative providing health literacy and resources to promote informed decision-making. We were informed in June that we were one of 73 communities nationally and the only in the state of Kansas to be selected for the award. And not only were we selected for the award, we were selected at the highest amount possible of $4 million. The implementation of this award will be done by a project administrator, a project assistant, community engagement and marketing managers, a quality improvement research evaluation manager, and 4 on-the-ground community facilitators who will focus on the Black, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, and Native American communities, and we're preparing for hiring of those positions in the coming weeks. We will partner with the City of Wichita, Sedgwick County, and existing healthcare providers such as Health Corps, Hunter Health, Grace Med, the University of Kansas School of Medicine, and others. We're going to be working diligently to expand those partnerships and deepen those partnerships via upcoming community meetings and conversations. It is the plan that over the next few weeks and months, our team will be meeting with leaders in the community and community members to identify how to best utilize these funds to support and protect our community under the hashtag of hashtag Facts Not Fear ICT. Additionally, as a part of this engagement, there will be the formation of a hashtag Facts Not Fear advisory board that will have the role and responsibility of ensuring that broad community voice is captured and that these resources are deployed in an impactful manner. We are excited about this opportunity. We're looking forward to having a major impact in this fight against COVID, and we're looking forward to building upon our partnerships. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
So, Ms. Johnson, thank you for all you do. I think this pandemic really highlighted inequities within our current healthcare system, and trying to build upon those lessons, I think, is very important for us to move forward. So thank you for what you do and what your organization does. Next, we're going to chat about Evolve, which is our resource for folks to figure out what the city is offering and how to sign up for some of these offerings. We have the new fall edition that is getting ready to launch because summer is winding down. So with that, that edition goes live on Monday, August 9th. The Wichita Library, City Arts, Wichita Park and Recreation are combining all of their activities into this one easy-to-use guide. So inside Evolve, you'll find hundreds of affordable classes, workshops, camps, leagues, events, and activities. Some offerings are even free. The best part is Evolve offers something for all age ranges, from toddlers all the way to adults. So please sign up to see a full list of classes by checking out wichita.gov/evolve. So with that, we're going to get a housing update from our Housing Director, Sally Stang, as we know that this past pandemic has caused lots of housing insecurities for many folks in our community. The WERAP program has been helping thousands stay in their houses and keeps the lights on as we recover from this pandemic, but we know there is a lot of questions with the changes in eviction laws. So with that, we're going to have our director, Sally Stang, come up after she gets mic'd up. She's apparently mic'd up right now. And we'll get an update on how the program's going, but also how folks can tap into these resources if they need them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mayor Whipple. It's been 3 weeks since I've been here to give an update on the WERAP program. And 3 weeks ago, I said I was not going to bet on whether or not the eviction moratorium would expire or if it would be extended. I should have taken that bet. I would have won either way, right? It expired and then it was extended. So next time I know. So when I was here, I was happy to say we had reached the $5 million mark. Today, this morning, we reached the $1,666,000 mark. I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but things are definitely moving forward. The program is working diligently to assist people in applying for assistance and receiving assistance to secure their housing. So the new eviction moratorium, it is kind of new because it has a little new caveat to it. So the CDC added a component that for this eviction moratorium to stand, it is only in counties in which there is a high level of spread of COVID-19. And so that adds another complexity to the moratorium. The CDC has an interactive map on their website where you can click on into your county and see if it's a high spread risk. So the ones that are red or orange qualify for under the eviction moratorium. Those are yellow or green do not. And under the new regulations, we've been informed that if a community is orange or red and then things improve, which is a good thing, and they move into green or yellow, if that continues for 14 days, the eviction moratorium will no longer be in effect for that community. So it's a little bit muddier than it was the first time around. The other thing I wanted to bring up is where there's often confusion related to the eviction moratorium are the requirements that have been in place, most of them, other than this new one, since the inception of the first moratorium. In that families have to actually submit a eviction prevention declaration to their landlord. They have to income qualify, being under $99,000 a year, state that they've had a negative economic impact related to COVID. But the thing that many people miss is on that declaration, the one thing that they often gets missed is they have to attest that they've done their very best to make partial payments along the way that are as close as possible to the full payment and get government assistance. So where we're actually seeing people falling through the cracks that aren't covered by the moratorium is they simply stopped paying entirely because of an eviction moratorium. And so we're seeing it happen in court, and we're seeing judges that are asking, did you get a stimulus check? Yes. And how much of that did you give to your landlord? And when they say nothing, they end up getting evicted. So that's one of the big messages that I wanted to get out, is that people, both landlords and tenants, understand all of the provisions of the eviction moratorium. It is not just you don't have to pay your rent, okay? The staff with the WERAP program is working diligently. We are working hand in hand with the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation and their CARA program. So the CARA program started accepting applications from Wichita residents about 2 weeks ago, and are also working to try and assist residents get assistance so they are not evicted. We have weekly calls, and actually every other day we are sharing data to ensure that there's not duplication of subsidy, that we're not wasting administrative resources working on the same households, but are trying to work through the backlog of applications, both at the state level and at the local level. So the state's working on about just over 10,000 applications currently. We have about 2,500 we're still working through. The funding is available through the year 2025, so as you can imagine, the federal government doesn't think the pandemic is ending anytime soon. So applicants in Wichita can apply either to WERAP at wichita.gov/WERAP or to CARA at kshousing.org/CARA. So it is their option. They can apply to either program, but you can't get assistance from both. And I stand for any questions that you have. Yes, sir.
In the last couple of days, it seems like we've gotten a lot of just personal questions and complaints, specifically regarding that backlog that you mentioned. Just a handful of people, tenants and landlords as well, reaching out to us, saying that this process just tends to be taking a little bit longer than what they planned. In some cases, several months that they've been waiting for your assistance. Are you guys dealing with like that you know of, and what is causing that, if you would have to say?
Absolutely. Most of the backlog is getting the information, and it's not always the tenant, sometimes it's the landlord. That really kind of blew my mind. It comes out to be about 50-50, where it's the third time we've reached out to the landlord and said, please complete the landlord certification. Or to the resident to say, you know, we need more information. And oftentimes it will drag on because we find out more information. When we finally, you know, we've been working with someone back and forth, submitting their lease, their application, their income information, and all of a sudden the landlord comes back and says, John Doe also lives there. And we're like, oh, now we need John Doe's information, income information. And it's kind of that back and forth that happens consistently. But it is definitely a challenge, and it's not all one-sided. All right. Mm-hmm.
I do have another question
Sure.
on the fact that some people have not been paying. Do you know, or like, do you think they were aware that would be affecting them if they stopped totally paying the rent?
I do think it is an educational piece that many people have said, well, there's an eviction moratorium, I can't be evicted. I was on a call with the National Association of Housing this week, and with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, who are recognizing they're expecting a wave of evictions of people who will not qualify for emergency rental assistance, simply because they haven't had a COVID-related impact. And they're seeing this, HUD is telling us, they're seeing this nationwide. They're seeing seniors living in assisted housing who just stopped paying their rent because there's an eviction moratorium. Not having had a financial impact, they don't qualify. And they're asking us to work with landlords and work with residents to try and ensure they still don't get evicted. But they do have to be educated that they have to pay the rent. Yeah, so definitely an education piece.
I wanted to touch on, we were receiving a couple of complaints as well, people writing in saying that they had applied and they had gotten some money, but it just wasn't the amount that they were expecting. Is there any weird caveat or language that people should be aware of in terms of, well, whether or not that amount fluctuates?
It really doesn't fluctuate. We will queue up anything that they owe in arrears from April 1st going forward for rent. Where it gets a little tricky, and so, you know, we talk to our staff about talking to residents, is because we can pay arrears for rent and utilities. We can actually pay forward rent and utilities, a total of 15 months. And we'll have some cases where they owe rent maybe only back to May, but they owe utilities back much further. And we have that discussion and say, well, how far back do you want to go? Because for every month we provide you assistance, it knocks off a month of eligibility. And so we'll oftentimes have someone go, you know, but I owe $29.10 for November of 2020. And I'm like, yeah, we can pay that, but that knocks off a whole month of your eligibility. That means 1 month we can't pay your rent, your energy, your water, your gas. It's your decision. We let it be the resident's decision because the program requirements have no dollar cap, just this period cap. And so we try to educate and say, it is totally your call, but if I pay that $29.10 bill you have from November, I can't pay your rent 1 month going forward.
And I have one more question. As you worked your way through that backlog that we discussed, have you noticed any trends? Does that seem like it's going down? Is that fluctuating? Are more people requesting help or less people requesting help?
So now we're working on applications that came in May. That's where we are in our process. What we're seeing is those applications, their debt doesn't seem to be as long. It seems the applications that came in, we received 1,410 applications in the first 7 days. And then we received 1,392 applications in the whole month of March. So of course we're seeing the number of applications. April was 510, so you can really see how it's coming down. But we're also seeing that the length of time that people had arrears has substantially decreased. The applications we're processing now, they may be 3 months or 4 months behind, not 9 or 10 months behind. Because the people who were 9 and 10 months behind applied right away when we opened. And maybe the people that applied in May just started having a problem where they couldn't keep up on the rent.
No
question. I'm sorry, Jason from Wichita TV7.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm holding my phone. I guess some of our people back at the station will have a problem picking up our YouTube, so I'm actually broadcasting this through our Twitter handle, and I wasn't prepared for that. My question is kind of along what you're talking about as far as on the housing issues. How is this affecting those who are on ComCare and who get the housing and they're, through the ComCare, and also how does it affect people on Section 8?
Sure. So the Department of Treasury came out with further guidance. Actually, it came out pretty quickly in March of this year that said we could not restrict people who already receive subsidy from getting additional help for the tenant portion of the rent. So somebody who's on Section 8 or has rent assistance through another means, we have.
I do have another question. In terms of funds that you've paid out, I wasn't here a few weeks ago when you had that update. Can you give us an update on the numbers?
Sure. So as of this morning, it was $6,666,000 and change that we've already queued up going forward. It really speaks volumes, in my opinion, because if you read any of the articles that came out over the weekend, Fox News came out and there was an article that showed that nationwide the average expenditure of programs is 6.6%. 6.6% of their funding is what they have gotten out. Our program for round one, we're at 61.5% of our round one funding that we've gotten out. We have a total of 21 million between the two different rounds. And so even when you count round one and round two together, we're still sitting at about 38% of the funding that we've received, we've gotten out. So we are definitely outpacing many across the country. Some of that comes because of our decision and our ability to use systems that were already in play, because we run a Section 8 voucher program. And so we had a system already set up to be able to accept applications and process payments to landlords, and a huge database of existing landlords in our system. And that was, why we were also able to open our applications on February 22nd, almost a full month before the state or most of the programs across the country.
Is there anything that you've learned since February, just as you've distributed these payments to people, that will help going forward if cases spike significantly higher in the future as we make our way out of this pandemic?
We learn every day. Honestly, we tweak and change our policies, our procedures with everything that we learn in an effort to try and expedite the process as quickly as we can. We ask that landlords please complete the landlord certification and complete it in its entirety. The Department of Treasury requires that we specify month by month. We have to account month by month what we're paying, for whom, for what property. And that landlord certification asks that they break out. How much does the person owe you? And please break it out by month. Only about 50% send it back, completed that way. We get $1 amount. And then our staff has to say, okay, can you send me a ledger? And now they've become forensic accountants to try and figure out, what months they owe how much is in alignment with the lease, et cetera. Things like that. We've implemented much more streamlined processes in that we're doing that cursory review now. So we have a team that goes in and ahead of people being pulled off the waiting list are already communicating and going, looks like you didn't submit the whole lease. We need income documentation so that when they do get pulled off the list, hopefully they've submitted that documentation by that time. Because we did learn people were just stretching out and asking for more and more time to submit the documents that were needed. So we're constantly tweaking what we do.
Sally, question, with what you've shared, I think there's some wisdom that we can share to the public to create that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, be patient. There's funds, but there is a few months of backlog. And number two, make an effort to pay your rent. Because if you stop paying at all, it's not going to look good. You might not qualify.
Right. Absolutely. That is the biggest message to get out, is make the attempt to pay what you can, because just not paying means you're not protected by the eviction moratorium.
And I promise this is my last
That's
question.
good.
I just want to know if there was a common frustration or complaint that you all are getting on your end that you would like to clear up, just for the general public.
I don't know that there's I would have never guessed the circumstances to be as complex as they really are. When we put this together, I thought, oh, this can be easy. It's not easy. People have very complicated circumstances. Names on applications don't match leases. People don't necessarily know who their landlords are. We get a lot of that. Oh, my landlord's Joe, and it's like, okay, this is owned by an LLC, and we need to make sure that we're paying the right person. It's very, very complicated program because, you know what? People are messy, and their circumstances are different. We can't put them all in one bucket and expect to be able to run a program. We have to have flexibility and understanding that people's circumstances are very different. But that also slows things down. If we tried to make everyone a square peg in a square hole, it just wouldn't work for everybody.
And Sally, you mentioned the numbers of applications in the earlier months. Do you guys have the list of the following months? Do you know them by heart?
I don't know the more recent months by heart. I apologize. And I guarantee you those are the numbers from the 7 days from March and from April. I don't know the other ones off the top of my head. I do know in the last week we've received 44 applications. 44 in the last week. I expected that to jump much higher with the eviction moratorium expiring, but from last Thursday to this morning, we had an increase of 44 applications.
And that's not a lot.
That's not a lot. No. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Of course. And just want to first thank Sally. I believe, and Sally can nod if this is true. Do you want to put that up here, by the way?
Oh, I know.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, that works. And just, Sally, you can give me a nod if this is true. I believe it is. We're the only city in Kansas who has actually taken this program on ourselves. Is that correct? Yeah, so frankly, when we started taking these applications, this is the first time I think Wichita has actually had a program of this magnitude for prevention of homelessness. And Sally had to start from scratch, like actually build a new team, train them, build upon them, and she still has been able to get out over 60% of the funds that we have allocated for the homeless prevention, comparable to the news article that was cited, which only 6% of those funds get out on average. So it's just a testament to not only her team and her work ethic, but also passion to ensure that people can stay in their houses and that this pandemic has less effect on those who are most economically impacted from this. So thank you, Sally, for that. And we want to continuously, and you're kind of a hit, by the way, when you come to these, lots of questions, but we want to continuously give periodic updates because the reality is Wichita is stronger when people stay inside their homes. When people don't have to borrow money from their parents or their friends, or when people don't have to rack up high interest credit card debt in order to stay in their homes. This money is taxpayer money, money that we have been paying into from the federal government, and we want to make sure it gets to the people who need it right here in our community, so Wichita can be as strong as we can moving forward. So with that, we'll talk just briefly. I want to remind people about our budget town hall. Residents have another chance to weigh in on our budget and the ARPA funds, which is the Recovery Act funds. Priorities tonight at 6:30 p.m. right here at City Hall for a public hearing on the budget. So we will be in the chambers, and we'd love to hear from our residents on the priorities for this year's budget that they feel should be at the forefront. So with that, please show up here at 6:30, or you can watch. It's going to be streamed on YouTube, I believe. And just shout outs to Vice Mayor Johnson. When I first became mayor, he mentioned about how wouldn't it be great if we had a evening meeting so that people who work 9 to 5 jobs can attend if they were alike. And I remember chatting with him about that. Didn't think it was going to be possible because we do have to keep staff here. We also there's a lot to it, but he was able to really steer that initiative, and we look forward to people taking advantage of it, just to come in, not only tell us about what we're doing right, but also tell us what we might be able to do better. So with that, we can open up to questions. Yes, ma'am.
It's not necessarily a question, more of a comment. You mentioned that Wichita is the only city in Kansas that's doing that rental assistance
That's
program. Otherwise, any other resident of Kansas has to go through the state program. I think it's important for people to understand that this is a huge advantage for the city and the residents. Would you like to?
Yeah, definitely. The majority of all the other folks in Kansas who aren't from Wichita who would qualify for these funds have to go through the state program. One of the things we want to do here in Wichita is to look at our method for delivery and see if we could do it better. And in doing that, we were able to open up this program to our Wichitans a month earlier than the state was, and we are still getting out every few weeks. We're getting out even more of that money into the households that need it the most, the people who qualify for this program. And one of the things I'll just mention through the questioning, I think an important message to get out to folks is if you are struggling and you might qualify for this, to start that process early. I think a lot of times we wind up with folks who fill out the application and get the information in, and they're in a dire situation at that moment. And so really we want to just encourage folks to start early with it, and also build a relationship with your landlord. The landlords have an incentive to see this process out, because they will get the back pay for the pay that is missing. So communication with landlords, I think, is really important, and also really putting a little extra time in the application. The applications that have made it the quickest through this process are the ones that have the most information, the stuff that we're looking for. So we're under federal guidelines. We look for fraud as well. So with that, you can't just spend money without having these guidelines in place. So working with your landlord, working with us, and really submitting most information up front is the best way to get your application through this process. Right, Sally?
Yep.
Okay. All right, questions on anything?
I got one question kind
Yes,
of
sir.
along that. We've been getting some questions here at the newsroom, and thank you first of all once again for hosting your briefing.
Of course.
For the city. We've been getting some calls and some messages from a lot of the churches around downtown area with the development of National Park and some of the closure of the displacement of some of our homeless residents in the downtown area. There has been a lot of complaints about the trash that has been left about some of the displaced homelessness. Kind of like out in the Skid Row area, out in Los Angeles, things of that nature, maybe not to that magnitude, but as far as within the downtown area. So a question is that we've been having is, does the city have any plans to try to help clean up the business area or the district area for the displaced homelessness?
So we got two things with that question that I think are separate, but I'll answer them both. First off is trash. We are working with Wichita State University to actually determine, based off best research practices, what is the main driver of the trash in our community. And it's not just so much, it's easy to blame it on someone, right? Oh, it's because you got a park over here, you got little kids and they throw stuff on the ground or something. Like it's easy to, I think, put kind of that surface level understanding of why we have trash out there. We're looking for that next level where, with the wind, with the way our city is built, we find certain areas where more trash than other areas, and through this study we could determine where that's likely coming from, which will allow us to be more strategic with trash cans, be more strategic when it comes to stopping trash from rotating around our city. So that's we started that a few months ago. So we're taking it very seriously as far as trash, to make sure that we're cleaning up our city, not just clean up trash that's on the ground, but also preventative. The second part about our residents who are experiencing homelessness, when it comes to the park, that happened when I was a legislator. So I wasn't in the room with some of those conversations, but I will say that moving forward, and thanks to the leadership of Sally Stang, we in Wichita, we feel that when it comes to serving our neighbors who are experiencing homelessness, we could do a better job than just having folks, let's say, in a park area or, wander around during the day. And that's why we're able to utilize one-time ARPA money, or not ARPA, COVID funds to buy an actual hotel. That we could use that money that could have been one-time money. Some cities that did it, in my opinion, wrong. They were using that one-time money to buy, a room a night for people who qualified, and we just went and bought the whole asset. Which means that we will have middle to long-term housing services for folks who are experiencing homelessness with on-site social services run by our nonprofit community, because they do it better than we do. So we are taking major steps forward. We've also invested more money in homelessness prevention than the last 10 years combined when it comes to where Wichita is today over the last 2 years, thanks to opportunities from the federal government. But it's not going, the results won't be overnight. So that's the other thing, is I get a lot of folks who reach out and ask about, what are we doing for the homeless population or our neighbors experiencing homelessness. And we are doing a lot, but again, it's not an instant fix. It's something that we need to be chipping away towards so that we can handle this problem the most responsible way possible. Other questions? So that was all right with some of that? We really did get a hotel, right? Okay, just kidding. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for being here. I'll see you next week. As always, if anything comes up during the week, feel free to text me, reach out, tag me on Twitter or whatnot, and I'm happy to be of service anytime y'all need me. So thank you.